Good afternoon, distinguished delegates. Please allow me to invite the delegation of the Nautical Institute, led by Captain John Lloyd, Chief Executive Officer. Captain Lloyd, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much indeed for the welcome, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here today. You know, our organisation, the Nautical Institute, has 7,000 members across the globe, and yet fewer than 10% of these are appointed as Fellows of the Nautical Institute. And of these, only 3 Fellows have been appointed as Goodwill Maritime Ambassadors to the IMO. And so it is a great pleasure for me to introduce George Hoyt, Fellow of the Nautical Institute, to speak about another of his ambassadorial roles in the Adopt-a-Ship programme. George.
Thank you for staying back. Appreciate it very much. Today I'll be making this presentation in my capacity as an IMO Goodwill Ambassador from the Nautical Institute, and also as Vice President of Intermanager, who have also been very active in the Adopt-a-Ship program. The program we have, we believe, is very relevant to the Technical Cooperation Committee, so we thank you for making time to stay back with us. And I'm grateful for, very grateful for the honor of being able to address you today. Your work is of vital importance. The Adopt-a-Ship program is helping those countries that it currently participates in attracting more of the best and brightest young people. To seafaring and other maritime professions in their countries by increasing maritime awareness. We believe it will also strengthen maritime awareness and maritime appreciation in other countries. We hope you will allow us to help you to launch Adopt-a-Ship programs in your countries or in your organizations. We have serious problems like pirates attacking and holding seafarers hostage for ransom. In 2017, dozens of seafarers were kidnapped and taken as prisoners for ransom. Seafarers were seriously injured and 3 were killed by pirates. In 2018, 201 incidents of piracy and armed robbery against ships. That was a 10% increase in piracy incidents compared to 2017. In 2017 and 2018, pirates retained the capability and intent to launch attacks against merchant vessels more than 100 miles from their country's coastline. We have not, and we will not, be able to solve piracy and some other serious challenges affecting the safety and the quality of life of our seafarers without more effective collaboration with the non-maritime community. There is an immediate need to raise public awareness of the importance of that maritime community, especially the seafarers, and the role they play in the quality of life of everyone on the planet. The IMO and others are working very hard to create awareness and boost our image. Some of the great programs operating to increase and boost maritime awareness have been highlighted earlier this week by members of the Technical Cooperation Committee. They are making progress. The Adopt-a-Ship is one of those new free programs, and I emphasize that it's a free program. It can operate independently, or it can be incorporated into existing programs. Connecting ships, ports, and people was the IMO's 2017 theme. The Adopt-a-Ship consists of a seafarer on board, usually the captain, exchanging an email with an elementary school-age children in a classroom, orphanage, or shelter via their teacher once a week. The children track the ship on a world map that is provided for free. They ask questions to the seafarers via their teachers. The program is flexible. It can run throughout the school year, as it does in Cyprus, or for 5 or 10-week periods, as it's doing in other countries. Some of the children are given a pre- and a post-test and survey. It can be a standalone program or incorporated into existing programs. Most of the children are 10 to 12 years old, but that can vary. There are 3 elements involved, as you can see on the screen, and that's the seafarers on board ships, teachers of elementary-age children, and someone in the middle of that to coordinate the communication between the seafarer and the teacher. Those were examples that I show, and the photograph here is of the administrator of a school in India, the coordinator, who is a training institute, and the other people are from the shipping company. They produced the map in a small area. That same map can be electrically printed up to 2 by 3 meters. Adopt-a-Ship has been running very successfully in Cyprus since 2006. We do have a link to the presentation. It's an excellent presentation. It runs 5 minutes, where the Cyprus Shipping Chamber tells about why and how they created the Adopt-a-Ship version. We're very pleased that they allowed us to share that with everyone in the maritime community. The link to that video is on this slide, and we are proudly launching that today. But we have something better than the video today. The distinguished representative from Cyprus has graciously agreed to tell us within 4 minutes how the Adopt-a-Ship program has benefited Cyprus over the last 13 years. May I call on you to address us, please, sir?
Thank you, George. When launching this program, we never imagined what success it could have. Let me say that from about 40 students that we had every year attending the National Academy, Maritime Academies, this number was increased to now to 300. But I would like also to highlight, apart from this, it's not only the maritime sector that benefits from this program. Through this program, the children, once they have some information from the master of the ship about the port he approached the country, the kids start studying the history of the country. They study the geography of the country, the culture of the country, and economy sometimes. Then there is a broad beneficiary from this program. So the kids, but we pay a lot of importance on how to present this to the kids. We don't want them to put pressure, psychological pressure, that they have for any way follow the maritime sector. This program is done in such a way so that the kid will be interested in this, but the final decision will be taken when in position to take this decision. I mean, okay, we are really glad that this program has been adopted also by some other countries, and we hope they will have the same successes we have in Cyprus. Thank you.
Ευχαριστώ. Adopt-a-Ship has been praised by the United Nations Working Group. In my capacity as Vice President and Manager, I'm working at the United Nations Working Group for the last 2 years. In the summary of a capacity building program session that we had at IMO, United Nations headquarters in New York in January, the chair mentioned certain activities in her summary that were highlighted. And she talked about the areas that would help that working group to increase ocean literacy, which is like us trying to increase maritime awareness. And the chair highlighted the work of Intermanager with schools, which is the Adopt-a-Ship program, and said that it should be welcome and extended, and new activities like this should be identified and encouraged. So we're very happy to have that endorsement and praise from the United Nations. And the IMO's Secretary General, along with the EU Transport Commissioner Bulc, in 2017, when they were in Cyprus, visit an elementary school that's actually participating in the Adopt-a-Ship program. And as you can see from the photograph on the top left when they took the selfies, they had a lot of fun. Of course, the teachers and the children were really excited, as was the Cyprus community. So it is a program that has existed in Cyprus since 2006, and the IMO Secretary General's comments were that the inspirational initiatives connects young people to the shipping world in a tangible way, improving their knowledge and firing their imagination. And he believes it's a wonderful scheme, and all of those involved should be given great credit, which we like to do to the Cyprus Shipping Chamber and the whole maritime community there. The Cyprus Maritime Ambassador, IMO Maritime Ambassador, Alex Josephides, and his team at the Cyprus Shipping Chamber have been very instrumental in making this happen, and we like to give credit to them in his role as ambassador. Intermanager has a separate section for Adopt-a-Ship on the website. They have been instrumental in moving this program around the world, and the Secretary General of Intermanager is from Poland, and he has 50 Polish seafarers communicating with 50 classrooms in Poland. The Intermanager members also are providing ships and seafarers to the Adopt-a-Ship programs in Cyprus, India, and the Philippines. So Intermanager is very much in support of this, and we appreciate their support to help us expand it further as we expand into more countries. And these are some of the photographs of the children participating in the Adopt-a-Ship program in Poland. They have their own Facebook page in Polish, and we also have a Facebook page called Adopt-a-Ship International in English, which covers the activities around the world. The Nautical Institute has been particularly supportive, and as they have been for me for the last 20-plus years with John and his great team and his predecessors, and we're very honored that they had a two-page spread on Adopt-a-Ship earlier on, and they brought it to the attention of many of their seafarers working on board and ashore, and that's been greatly appreciated, John. Thank you so much for that. Your team has been exceptionally cooperative, and we look forward to working with them and expanding this as a Nautical Institute project also. India. The Maritime Awareness Program Society, with the acronym MAPS, M-A-P-S, is a program whose vision and statements is very similar to that what we have as IMO Goodwill Maritime Ambassadors. And in that program, they do an awful lot of work with the community. It's a volunteer organization. It's the heads of many of the shipping organizations. And in May, last month, I was in Mumbai when they launched a film that was supported by IMEC, a film about maritime awareness, and also the second edition of the book they have on the maritime industry. One of the exciting parts of this is their reach and their ambition and the time they put into it. This will be distributed to 2,300 schools. In India, the average ratio of teacher to child is 200. So when you start to do the math, you get some pretty exciting numbers. If we have two teachers per school, that's over 4,000. Keeping in line with the maritime theme of empowering women, I've contracted with the International Women Seafarers Foundation to become the admin support for the coordinator in India. And we're very, very grateful to them, and it's wonderful to have them on the team. Some of you will recognize the man in the center of this picture, Admiral Metropolis, our former Secretary General. He is now the chairman of the Sakos Foundation in Greece. Sakos Foundation, with the leadership of Admiral Metropolis, have created their own Adopt-a-Ship program on the island of Chios, where the Sakos family comes from. So they've created that in Greece, and we give great thanks to him, as always, an inspiration and very supportive. There's also another organization called Project Connect that has started the program in 7 schools already, and they'll continue with more schools after the children finish their summer recess. So it's expanded now into Greece, and we're very supportive of what they're doing down there, and it's been a very innovative program. And in North America, our IMO Goodwill Maritime Ambassador, Carlene, has run the organization, the MEPA, since its inception, and she and her team have taken on Adopt a Ship as a special project that they're doing along with many other things. They produce some very nice books that they have for the children and videos and other things. And the Adopt a Ship is one of the articles that they've put in, and they've have a person, a couple of people on that team working to develop the Adopt a Ship in the United States and other areas of North America. And they'll be starting their program with some schools when the school year starts to begin again in September. So we're very grateful that they'll be participating with us in a partnership. And there's more information about them on these slides. These slides will be made available to you after the presentation on the website, and so you can get more information about what they're doing inside each one of these organizations. So we're trying to bring as many of the organizations together. In the Philippines, we just made a contract with them last month, where the Gold Foundation, which is the Gregorio Oca Leadership Development Foundation, acronym GOLD, whose mission is to help support the families of the seafarers and the children of the seafarers, the children of seafarers and their families. And so I met with them, and they've now launched a program to go forward. They'll be having more than 9,000 children this year in their program, and next year that'll double to more than 18,000. So they'll be doing 27,000 children, bringing 27,000 children into this program over the next 18 months. And they'll also be supporting others like Marlow, who had 4,000 children in their program. So the numbers from the Philippines, with PTC doubling to 20,000 children, and the Gold Foundation doing 19,000 next year, is going to be pretty good numbers. We've had a lot of participation in Manila from various organizations, and when this starts, sometimes the teachers get together before the school year and have a workshop and determine how the program will be embedded into the curriculum. And this is some photographs of that happening with the Department of Education in the Philippines. When I was allowed to take the program from Cyprus and move it around the world, I changed it and added that we would give the children a pre-test and survey before they participated in the program, and give them that same test and survey after they participated, so we could actually quantify in objective terms the academic benefits of it. And so here's pictures of the children tracking the ships and studying the geography and other things, taking the test. A little later in this presentation, we'll talk about the survey and the importance of it. But the survey, is, to the best of my knowledge, it's the first time these elements of maritime awareness have ever been defined in any way and put into a program and measured prior to and after the children have participated in a program. So we're very excited about that, and the slides will show the academics that came out of it. So in 2017, they had 4,500 children. Last year, they had 9,800. And this year, they're going to be at 20,000. And we expanded it from the classrooms to bring it into orphanages and shelters around the world, and that's been very satisfying for us. We purchased the worldwide rights to this map, and as you can see on the bottom of it, it can be printed out and logos can be put on the bottom, which will stimulate the curiosity of the children to figure out who these people are and what they do. And it also can customize it and reward the shipping companies that participate, so their logos will be in there. As you can see, we have PTC down the bottom. Our ambassador from the intermanager, their IMO Maritime Ambassador, is Ambassador Carlos Salinas, and his organization, PTC. Again, they had 9,800 children last year. This year, they'll be close to 20,000. Some of the maritime academies, Anglo-Eastern Maritime Academy and the Maritime Academy of Asia Pacific in Manila, are running their own program with their cadets, very innovative program. This is a picture of the page 1 of the 2-page test and survey. In the top, a couple of questions about shipping. Then it has the 7 questions or statements about maritime. That's the survey. And the second one is a world map with no ocean, with the oceans and not continents outlined, no name. and the children are asked to name those. And so that's what's given to them before. So as I mentioned, they had 9,854 children participating in the program. About half of them actually responded and did the pre and post test. And the average increase documented by the school department and the teachers was a 78% increase in their geography. So they were very, very happy with the test, and we're hoping that will allow the school department to look at making this a permanent part of the curriculum. The survey, we had almost 3,000 of the 9,000 children participate, and it had 5 elements to it. And so there's no right or wrong answer. It's just strongly disagree, disagree, neutral, agree, strongly agree. And we're able to assign numerical values to those. And there's the 7 statements. So we're able to assign numerical values to them to come out with a calculation of how it would have increased or decreased. And we were very happy to see that there was an average 64% increase in their maritime awareness. Again, I do believe this is the only time maritime awareness has been defined, survey taken before a project, and a test taken or a survey taken afterwards. And I hope this will encourage you to look at some things to do. When I was chairman of Intermanager's shipping KPI system, we drilled into my head that if you want to be able to measure something, measure it to find out if it improved, you have to be able to measure it. Before you can measure it, you have to define it. And that's what we've done in this simple survey. We put that package together. And those questions can be altered or changed if we want to get others in there. What we're trying to do is have all the participants participate in this and maybe find the funds to get a university to start to analyze this, because it can be broken down by gender, the type of school, public, private school, underprivileged schools, shelter, orphanage, and the age of the children. And we can see what's been effective and what's not been effective, and then learn from it to go forward. The program that was run by Marlowe, the captain and the chief engineer were in town, and they went to a school to visit the classrooms that they had been talking to. The school called the school assembly, and they brought all the children in, which was a great surprise and thrill for the captain and the chief engineer. And as you can see, the children were sitting there looking, and I think a picture's worth 1,000 words. If you look at the faces of these children, and the way they're looking at the seafarers, and not only the boys, look at the faces of these young ladies that are coming up, and you can only envision what's going through their head and the opportunities, the seeds we're planting for these young ladies to become part of the maritime community. So these are the type of things that we're able to bring to the children, and we try to focus on the underprivileged schools, the schools that will benefit mostly from this. And the seafarers have been thrilled to be part of this when they're able to go in and actually meet the children. It's an overwhelming experience for them. They were very emotional about it. And of course, so were the children when they get to meet the seafarers. And so all of this is possible, all of it's free. One of the things that I started working on last year, but it's a very expensive project, and I haven't been able to finance any further movement with it, is a gamification application. We've got some of the basics started, but I would like to see this develop over the years. I'd rather see the children playing this than shooting monsters. At least in the United States, we have far too much hostility, and I would like to see them, when they're going to spend time on games, have something that's productive for them, and they can learn about shipping and maritime and possibilities for careers throughout that opportunity. So that's what's on the forefront, and today we officially launched the adoptaship.org website, so that's on here. And I know that working with the Nautical Institute, Intermanager, other IMO maritime ambassadors, and different friends around the world, that we've made great progress, taking it from 1,400 children in 2016 to more than 15,000 last year, and going to more than 60,000 this year, that we can accomplish great things. So I do hope you'll join us in 2019, and for those of you who are not living here, we wish you safe travel abroad. That's the adoptaship.org website, which, ding, 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 is the official launch of it right now. So we have maybe 5-6 minutes for any questions, if anybody would like to have any questions or anything. Wish my eyesight was better that I could read Romania, but I know it's you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador. In fact, I have no question. I have just a remark. Also myself as a maritime ambassador, maritime goodwill ambassador, I'm involved in such action, but I have to recognize I admire your huge work and your results. As we talked before, you already work with global numbers, huge numbers, and that's mean a very efficient dissemination. And let me know, I'm proud I am your colleague. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your generous comments. Any other questions or comments on this? Oh my gosh.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing with us this incredible presentation. I hope many more people were around, because we can actually see how we can motivate the young people to join this industry. We so desperately need this in the maritime sector, particularly for women. What I would only, I think it's certainly something that should be shared more broadly, and I don't know how you intend to do that, so that we can take this to the schools in not just the Philippines, which is where, of course, there is a lot of awareness about the shipping industry, but in so many other parts of the world, in so many countries in the developing world. I think it would be quite inspiring for them to be able to have the opportunity to, to be able to see, to follow this presentation that you have there, and the adoptership concept, which is a fantastic one. So just want to say congratulations, well done for that. But I think it can have a huge impact if we're able to disseminate it more widely and get that really into the schools around the world. Thank you so much for the effort, the energy, and for the I would say the vision that you have in making this, in preparing this, and in taking these issues forward. The adoptership program, this is great. It's easy to follow, and thank you so much.
My gosh, coming from you, what an honor, ma'am. I reiterate my comments and praise for you with the great work you're doing with the WMU, and it would be wonderful to be involved with them and to follow your leadership on the great programs that you have going forward. So thank you so much for that. Anybody else have anything? Ready for lunch? Oh, my gosh, Admiral Brady.
Thank you for a wonderful presentation. Your passion and your passion for this particular subject area is just infectious. And what I would like to do is to suggest that you link up with the various women in maritime associations around the world. They're very, very good at these kinds of things. And you will get a lot of very quick results. I know that the Women in Maritime Association Caribbean, for instance, the Jamaica chapter started a project with young people, and it has tremendously progressed in just 18 months. And I know that a similar sort of thing will happen if you use the women in maritime associations around the world, who are very effective with these kinds of projects and very good with young people. So thanks again for a wonderful presentation.
Thank you, Admiral Brady. On the website, we can see where we have the International Women Seafarers Foundation in Mumbai as our coordinator. Marisa Oker, the oldest daughter of Greg Oker, the creator of Amasa, is our coordinator in the Philippines. And Carlene from Namepa and Worcester is in North America. And Worcester themselves are very active in the program in Cyprus, where it inception. But I would love to be able to follow that advice, because these ladies really make things happen. So if we can contact the ladies in the Caribbean to try to get them there, that would be very helpful. And thank you for the inspiration over the years yourself, sir. Georgia.
Thank you very much for your presentation and for your hard work in promoting women and for the empowering them in the maritime industry. Actually, we would like also to give you information about the steps that we have taken in the field of women empowerment in Georgia. So the local chapter of VISTA, as you may know, in Georgia, with UN Women Georgia and the Maritime Administration, had entered in a memorandum of understanding to promote the integration of women in the Georgia maritime industry. And they, as you know, we have almost 11,000 active seafarers in Georgia, but only 2 Georgian women are active seafarers, so you can say that it's quite a low number. I would like to, rectify this gender imbalance. So we have, under the memorandum, we are going to fund for a dozen of Georgian students for the navigation faculty. Also, we are also encouraging more and more women to get into, for example, cruise ships, and so we have decided to fund, to select 20 women who will then receive all the basic trainings under the STCW convention, and then after some interviews we will send them to serve aboard cruise ships. And so just for your information. Thank you.
Well, that's fantastic. And with the Adopt-a-Ship program, they'll be learning about the maritime industry at 10 and 11 years old. So those seeds planted would make them more receptive to these programs as they get older, so they know a little bit more about it. And we're not just focusing on trying to bring people in for seafaring. It's the ship is a floating city, so if they can come in IT, law, medicine, and a range of maritime professions in the maritime industry, we want to bring more women into maritime industry in general. But the programs are there and they can go forward. And Worcester, Despina was here yesterday, and we were trying to work more closely with her. Unfortunately, she had to travel today, but they've been active in Greece and Cyprus, so we're going to look to try to work with them very strongly. Oh, please, the Bahamas. Wow.
Yeah, thank you. And I'll try to use some of your words, but I've been emotionally kidnapped when I was 8 years old from a similar program run through the Scouts. So, and in fact, they were nautical Scouts and not just Boy Scouts. So yeah, consider that channel as well. It worked for me. And thank you for mentioning just now that it's not just about going at sea, but there are a lot of alternatives like designing and, it's an invisible industry, but not just located on floating stuff.
When I speak at graduations, many times the parents say, yes, my child is going in here. What are they going to do in 10, 15 years? And well, I'm in my 70s. There are people my age still working in the industry. It can be a career. Maritime would be a career for life in many different aspects. And so we have many seafarers working ashore, many more working ashore than we actually have on board ships. If there's nothing else, John, then are we okay, Keith?
George, just to say thank you so much indeed. Your commitment, your passion. If we're going to have high-quality seafarers in the future, high-quality people working in the maritime community, it is about showing people that it's an exciting career, an interesting career, and a hugely worthwhile one. And this initiative will help us draw upon the greatest expertise that we possibly can. Thank you very much. We salute your work.
Thank you, Chair.